You're listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson on Woo FM. Call 423-614-5553 to join in on the conversation. Now, back to Backfire.
All right. Anyway, I've got the Democratic Party survey, 2014 party survey. I thought we might have a little fun with this morning. Anyway, before
Who's we?
all of us, all three of us. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'm going to be Al Sharpton for a minute, and I'll read this too. I did.
You're not well dressed enough.
I did something.
Your hair's not coiffed enough.
I did something you asked me to do again yesterday. I watched NBC or whatever it was, and this Al Sharpton show was on. Uh-huh. I'm telling you, I had tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. Have you seen that yet, John?
I don't watch it too much.
You've got to watch this sometime. That is.
He's a showman.
Oh, it's a comedy. It's such a comedy. It's hilarious to watch. But anyway, I get this survey in the mail. Anyway, and I open it up and I'm reading it. And President Obama faces both great possibilities and the challenges during his second term in the White House. The middle class must be strengthened. Our federal deficit must be cut in a balanced way. Violence in our schools and communities must be stopped.
Sounds like he hadn't been in office yet.
And we still face a Republican Party which is determined to obstruct progress at every opportunity. We need your help. Send some money. We must be prepared today to counter everyone and their dirty attics. We must be prepared today to counter every one of their dirty attics. I mean, this letter, we're going to beat them again in the technology race. Technology has changed political campaigns. Our technology edge helped our party to beat the Republicans in the previous election. We must continue to find ways to surpass the competitors in this digital space. Well, the NSA is working on that for you as fast as they can. Now then, let's get down to the actual survey, okay? Now I'm going to read the questions in this survey, and then I'll let you both respond to them. But now we got to move on now. How do you rate the Republican Party's performance in handling the nation's fiscal crisis? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair. Franklin, I'll let you go first.
Poor.
Well, they're not in charge of anything, so how would you rank them at all? The Democrats control the White House and the Senate.
The decision to
39 job bills have been passed in the House, and not a single one's been brought up by Harry Reid in the Senate.
The decision to force the government shutdown.
They didn't. By the way, Franklin, everything that they asked for to avoid the shutdown, Obama has now done through his own executive power.
All right,
so why? It's his fault we shut down.
Do you believe the Republican majority in the House of Representatives will continue their attempts to obstruct President Obama's agenda? Yes, no, undecided.
Yes.
Well, since his popularity is at the lowest ever, almost below 40%, I hope they do, and so does the rest of the American public.
Do you believe the Republican leadership in the House will try to work with Democrats for the common good? Yes, no, undecided.
History says no.
Well, there's a bipartisan bill in the Senate to actually increase the Iranian sanctions, and under the White House request, Harry Reid, the Democrat leader, won't bring it to the floor. It's bipartisan. Republican and Democrats agree, and they won't bring it up for a vote because the White House shut it down. So who's the obstructionist now?
Okay. Do you believe the Republicans will work with President Obama on the national debt crisis after forcing a government shutdown?
I'm sorry, read that again.
Do you believe the Republicans will work with President Obama on the national debt crisis after forcing a government shutdown? Yes, no, undecided.
Well, I hope that they don't force a government shutdown.
Well, they didn't force the first one, and this new budget by the president is an increase in taxes and an increase in spending, so he has no leg to stand on talking about trying to cut the debt. He's never tried to cut the debt.
I love it that the Republicans forced the shutdown.
I mean, think about that. Think about the very audacity of that question.
Oh, they did. They did force the shutdown.
Well, actually, Franklin, there's new documents that show that the White House actually did purposely close the national monuments, even though their own people in the Interior Department said it would cost more to close them than to leave them open.
Surely you're not going to
suggest
that all those Republicans on TV saying we need to shut down the government before we raise the debt ceiling.
Franklin, we need this in order not to, and he refused. And now everything,
and it was fiscally
Franklin,
irresponsible.
everything that the Republicans asked to happen that he refused and shut the government down over, he has now done through his own executive action. So you tell me who's got a better leg to stand on.
All right,
if he was opposed to it enough to allow the government to shut down, why has he now in the
So you're
last 5
saying
months
he's now
done it anyway?
So now you're saying he's done the things that they wanted him to do.
He did.
And that's
He did
an
them
example
illegally.
of him being obstructionist.
Yes, Franklin, he allowed the
Uh-huh.
government to shut down. The Congress could have done what he's already done legally and avoided the shutdown. But he pushed it, he had the shutdown, and then he turned around and did what they were asking anyway.
Wait a minute. We're taking a survey, and we can't take this long to answer these questions. Do you believe that it will be necessary to put a Democratic majority back into the House of Representatives to achieve all of the President Obama's agenda of change? Yes, no, undecided. Do you believe it will be necessary to put a Democratic majority back into the House of Representatives to achieve all of the President Obama's agenda of change?
Well,
Yes,
obviously,
no,
obviously he could not pass his agenda without controlling both houses. of
Well,
Congress.
this may be one that Franklin and I agree on, because yes, I think his agenda of destroying America from the inside, making us a weak, groveling, unimportant nation in the world, destroying our economic system that has built the strongest economy in the world, destroying our military, fundamentally transforming us. Yes, I think they would have to have a Democrat majority to do
Gosh,
that.
John, it sounds like you're going to be moving to Mexico or some
Well, no, there's
other
no,
paradise.
No, I'd have to probably move to New Zealand or somewhere like that.
All right. Here's section 2 of the party survey. President Obama's performance. This ought to be interesting. How do you rate President Obama's performance in handling the nation's physical crisis? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair.
The fiscal crisis?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
There's not a negative enough word on the survey. Everything he's done has failed.
Well, I've got something written in
Except
up there.
staving off a depression.
You know, Franklin, that you can't prove a negative. You all, that's y'all's game. You can't. Well, it would have been worse.
Oh, only every Republican
Franklin,
economist
it's
out there
the
was saying
worst
it was going into the
recovery.
toilet.
Well, first
Wait a
off,
minute.
Franklin, the things that
and
Bush.
by the way, our economy has come back a lot better than the other
It's the
Western democracies.
worst
who were
recovery in the history of the country, Franklin. Worst recovery in the history of the country.
All right, let's keep going here. How do you rate President Obama's performance regarding the economy? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair.
B. A B.
Horrible. Every unemployment has stagnated.
Would that be undecided? It's fair.
Now, if you're a
good,
Wall
undecided,
Street,
excellent,
if you're a
poor.
Wall Street big money guy, you're real happy with him, because printing money in the basement of the Fed has worked well for Wall Street.
Well, if you're a supply side economics guy like all those Reagan Republicans, you ought to be turning somersaults for him.
We don't have supply side, Franklin.
Oh, all I've heard, John, for my adult life is that if everybody at the top did well, that it would all trickle down to the middle class.
Franklin, it depends on how you do it. If you deregulate and you allow it to work, it will. We don't have that. We have crony capitalism at its worst under this president. That's why all the
Help
big
us
money.
change that,
That's why
John.
the big money goes to Obama and the Democrats. The Wall Street money is there.
How do you rate the Obama administration's work to create jobs? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair, and I just went ahead and put another mark in there and put none. Now, how do y'all rate it?
Using the grade scale, I'd give him a C.
Highest level of food stamp usage, highest level of disability, highest level of no people dropping out of the workforce. I'd give him below 0.
Yeah, I put none. How do you rate President Obama's performance regarding our nation's energy policies? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair.
Excellent.
Well, the problem is he's set the policy, and when he came into office, he said that under his plans, energy prices would necessarily skyrocket. So under his standard, I guess he's doing pretty good. Under the public standards of having to pay for it, it's a horrible disaster.
Excellent, because what he's doing is, for once, John talks about this a lot. He talks about the idea that government ought to plan for the long term more than the short term. Well, his policies have been in the long-term benefit of the country
How do
rather
you figure
than the
that,
short term.
Franklin?
Developing alternative energy sources
and wind energy and solar energy are disasters.
And
They are
gas,
physically and financially
and gas,
unfeasible.
And gas.
Gas production on federal land under his control has plummeted. The only reason our gas production is any good is because states and private land have increased their production. And by the way, the tar sands oil in Canada, it'll be burned. The question is, will it be burned in the United States under our regulations, or will it be burned in third world nations under their regulations? He's a disaster. He's a nincompoop who has ideology that is more important than actual results.
John, your party is not in a position to be accusing anybody of being ideologues.
Here's
Frankly, the difference is
on.
our ideology works. Yours doesn't.
Only you can't point to an example
I
of
can
it
point to
ever
Reagan's
working.
recovery, which was twice as fast,
I love
twice
that.
as good.
I love that. Here's what Reagan did. He injected $250 extra billion into a much smaller budget then.
And he cut the taxes.
And
he cut taxes
and
dramatically.
also dramatically increased
Actually,
federal
he didn't.
hiring.
He didn't, Franklin.
Yes, he
Your
did.
guys did that. Your guys were in charge of the House and the Senate, and they controlled the budget. And the increases in the
Federal
budget
hiring
were the
was
Democrats.
controlled by Reagan, and the reason there's a huge difference in the unemployment numbers is because he put tons more people on the federal payroll, and we've cut them.
Franklin, we haven't cut them.
Yes, we have. The
Franklin.
federal workforce has gone down.
Franklin, well, listen, Franklin, when Obama took over, there was one officer in all the departments making over $180,000 a year. Now there are thousands of people in every
The
department
federal
making over
workforce
the richest
has been cut during this
Franklin,
presidency.
7 of the 10 richest counties in the country surround Washington
In
D.C.
fact, if you
7
look,
of the 10 richest.
If you look at the economic numbers, the private job numbers have actually been on par with previous recoveries. What's different are the number of people going to work for the government, which have fallen.
Franklin,
That's
the difference in the unemployment
Are you
rate.
accounting
Wait a minute,
for the
we're
people
doing a
that have
survey
actually
here now.
quit looking for work?
We're doing a survey here now. Let's not get
There's
in.
no economist that can
How do you
defend
rate?
this guy.
I bet this is a question. This just came in the mail here a couple of weeks ago. I bet you they wish this question wasn't on here right now. How do you rate the president's performance concerning foreign policy? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, fair.
It's an unmitigated
B.
disaster. I tell you what, Franklin, name one country in the world that our relationship is better with. Name one.
France,
Oh, well, folks, we're good with the French, who are collapsing
Great
on their
Britain.
own. The socialist
Great
country
Britain.
now. You think we're better with them, Franklin? They can't stand us and they don't trust us. This dummy sent videotapes of his own political speeches to the Queen as a birthday present.
How do you rate the president's efforts to finding a solution to gun violence?
poor.
Well, it's because he wants to attack law-abiding citizens and not the actual people that you should be after. Once again, his ideology is what's killing him. He's got an attorney general nominee right now that is garnering, once again, the only time he gets bipartisan support is when they're against him. This attorney general guy is probably going to go down in flames even after they jerry-rig the Senate rules on filibusters. And it's Democrats and Republicans that are against him over his gun policy.
Unfortunately, there's no area where policy is being driven by zealots than this particular area. And consequently, we can't even talk about common sense.
It's because y'all won't talk common sense, Franklin.
Oh, really,
every
John?
state
Really,
that
John?
passed concealed carry
Sure, John.
saw a
Sure,
decrease
John.
in crime.
That's right, John.
Gun ownership
That's right,
has
John.
skyrocketed the last
Because
10 years, and
everybody
crime has gone
knows-
down.
Everybody
Franklin,
knows we'd be so much safer if drunks in bars had guns.
actually,
because
see, that's
drunks
you
in
all.
bars
That's you all
use
playing
great
the.
judgment.
That's you all playing the emotion card,
That's
Franklin.
not emotion. That's
the-
common sense.
Here's
the kind of common sense your parents tried
Franklin,
to teach you, but you weren't listening.
Franklin, we didn't pass a guns in bar law.
You tried,
No,
and
we
guess
didn't.
what? The NRA supported it.
Franklin, listen real closely.
They supported guns in bars.
Franklin,
John.
do you call O'Charlie's a bar?
Yes, it is a bar.
No, it's a restaurant,
It's a
Franklin.
bar.
It's a restaurant.
What do you think that thing is with all
Franklin,
the bottles of liquor
I hate
behind
to
it?
break this to you. Pokies is a bar.
That's right.
O'Charlie's
And
is a
guess what?
restaurant.
Pokey serves food too.
They have to
It's
serve
still
the
a bar.
right. They have to serve the right percentage, and you
Oh,
know
we're
it.
not through with our survey
Franklin,
yet.
you want facts? Answer this to me. Gun ownership has skyrocketed the last 10 years. Violent crime has decreased. That's a fact.
Actually, violent crime has decreased since about 1990.
And gun
And
ownership
there's
has
not-
skyrocketed since 19. It's skyrocketed
No,
all
gun
along.
ownership did not skyrocket
Franklin, you're
during
wrong
the
about
1990s.
that. You're wrong. It's gone up every year.
Hold on now. We're not finished with our survey yet. We got to at least get this survey finished.
More guns, less crime.
How do you rate President Obama's overall performance? Excellent, poor, good, undecided, or fair?
B.
Well, keep in mind, they sent this survey out to the 39% of the people that approve of him.
Unlike the 7% that approve of what your party's doing.
It is one-sided.
Actually, Franklin.
Nobody
generic
in the
Republican-
country is less popular than elected Republicans.
Really,
Now, wait a
Franklin?
minute.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
that special election in Florida looked like it went the wrong way for y'all.
That's all right. We'll get a repeat here in a few months.
Well, yeah, that's how
When
y'all
there-
work.
when there's
Just
actually-
like
I
the-
wish it was next
Yeah,
month.
When there's actually a
what he
turnout.
means by that is they want a repeat like the UAW in Chattanooga. The election didn't go our way, so we're going to get the courts or somebody to let us do it again.
I wish the election was
Although
next
you've
month.
got about 6 months to make it harder for people to go vote again, so that'll probably help
oh,
out.
You mean like
Let's
the
get our violins out.
You mean like the ID that is required to go hear the vice president speak?
No, the cutting back of times for people to go vote, so working people can't get there.
Oh, I see.
I
Not
tell you
that
what.
you'd want any
Do you
working
really,
people to
do
vote.
you really think that
Well, Franklin, the working people have
anything
suffered
that
the most under
could be
this
done
president.
today is going to affect the election? The biggest thing that's affected the election is early voting.
Yeah, and they're cutting it back down there.
Well, Franklin, I'll tell you personally, I don't like early voting.
It-
It makes elections
Of
terribly.
course you don't, because
Franklin,
it hurts your party.
No, listen
for
to
people
me.
come
No,
out
It
and
makes
it's called
everybody
allows
Republican.
hauling.
It
It
makes
allows
Republican
hauling.
and Democrat
Oh, we never did
candidates.
that
No,
before.
Franklin.
Oh, yeah, right.
Y'all never had dead people vote either.
It
Hold on,
makes
we're not finished.
Early
with this.
voting
I'm
makes
sorry.
Republican and Democrat
Back in
candidates
the
have to
good
spend a
old days when
fortune.
everything was wonderful, and we had people
We've
here
got-
hauling,
we've got to
hauling
finish-
to the polls and handing out whiskey.
We've got to finish our
Are you
survey here.
kidding?
We've got to finish our survey. Here's the next one. This one's going to be really difficult for this crew. Please rank the following 16 national issues by their level of priority. Okay? Number one, being signifying the least important. Okay?
One is the least important?
That's what it says. I mean, this is the Democratic survey. I didn't
They're
print
not real
this.
good with numbers, so just move on.
Anyway, creating jobs, reducing the deficit, protecting Social Security, protecting Medicare, dealing with Iran, winding down the war in Afghanistan, implementing health care reform, stopping gun violence, nuclear non-proliferation, ensuring equal pay for equal work, improving education, energy independence, combating terrorism, America standing in the world community, dealing with North Korea, implementing common sense immigration reform, combating Republican obstruction in the House of Representatives, protecting progress achieved in the first term of the Obama administration, winning Democratic voters on the state level, retaking the House of Representatives, electing a new Democratic president. Boy, this is some survey.
Jimmy Carter called. He wants his agenda back.
Let's just start with this first page. The second half of this is just absolutely crazy. Creating jobs, reducing the deficit, protecting Social Security, protecting Medicare, dealing with Iran, winding down the war in Afghanistan, implementing health care reform, stopping gun violence, nuclear proliferation, ensuring equal pay for equal work, improving education, energy independence, combating terrorism, America standing in the world community, dealing with North Korea, implementing common sense immigration reform.
So in other words, fixing all the things he's screwed
Well,
up.
I was fixing to say, how many of these things
He
could we
screwed
just
all those
eliminate?
things up.
I mean, they're wanting to put them in some kind of
They're
order.
all worse after 5 years of his president. It's like he hadn't been president.
Well, let's go through it. Is creating jobs better
That
or
would be
worse?
number one on my list.
Well, he's had 5 years to do that.
Is it better or worse?
Worse.
Well, you ask us which one's the most important.
Okay, but
that's what
I'm
you said
asking
the question
you-
was.
all right,
That's the question.
He's right.
I think that should be our number one priority.
All right, creating jobs, number one. Number two, then, you agree creating jobs?
No, I don't.
What do you think?
I think you got to fix the debt and get taxes off the company's backs, and then that will fix the jobs.
Growing economy.
You grow the economy by getting government off,
addressing the
off
debt a lot
companies'
easier.
backs.
For example, the deficit has fallen over the last couple of years because the economy is doing
Because he
better.
elevated the deficit to skyrocket
Because
levels.
the
You can't
economy is
say,
doing better.
I beat the hell out of you every day, but now I'm only going to beat the hell out of you once a week, so that's an improvement.
Reducing the deficit, protecting Social Security, protecting Medicare.
I'd put those.
Well,
in
they're
top,
the
in
ones that
top
have
five.
raided Social Security and took hundreds of millions of dollars out of Medicare for the Obamacare plan. Democrats did that. Maybe they ought to talk to themselves.
Well, I'm surprised, Franklin, that you didn't say implementing health care reform as number one.
I thought we did that about 3 years ago.
Exactly.
And we got millions of people that lost their insurance over it.
Okay.
And now we're lying about the enrollment numbers.
Stopping gun violence.
Gun violence has been decreasing for years, and gun ownership has been increasing.
Ensuring equal pay for equal work.
Well, when you allow for all of the different types of working decisions that women make, we're relatively equal. But if we really wanted to fix that, he'd fix the discrepancy in pay in the White House. Men in the White House are paid 17% more than women in the White House.
Improving education.
Well, he could destroy, close the Department of Education, get them off our backs, and let us keep our own money.
Energy independence.
We could okay the
We've come close to achieving that.
No,
already.
we have. Oh my gosh, Franklin, what world do you live in?
Well, for the very first time in about 40 years, we used more domestic energy than we imported.
Well,
and our imports
Franklin,
were
the
greater than the other countries.
A couple of reasons for that.
Consequently,
One, he destroyed our economy.
Why is
so our
gas
usage
going up
went
right
down.
now? Why is gas going up right now? Why is it going up?
Because spring break.
Well, I mean, you and I know that. I mean, that's the common sense.
Of course,
thing.
if we were drilling on federal land, which we now probably have the largest oil reserves in the world.
Why do you think gas is going up right now, Franklin?
it's seasonal market pressures. I mean, people,
And
there's more demand during this time
Obama will
of year.
not allow us to tap the easiest oil, which is all on federal land,
Except
and he won't
that we're,
okay
except
the
that we're
exit.
producing
He
more
won't
oil than
on
we've
private
ever
and state land.
produced
On
before.
private and state land, federal acquisitions are down.
Why would the price of gas go up because you use more? If we know we're going to do this every year, we do this every year.
Well,
Why
there's
can't it just
also-
stay
right
an
about-
average?
They
Well,
have, the,
why can't it
refin-
just
the,
stay an
refi- the
average?
refineries have to change
There is
their
a-
refining process. It's more expensive in certain times of the year.
Well, there's a
That's
summer grade
factor.
and a winter grade. Of course,
Yeah.
that's a government regulation. Once again, government sticking their nose in, but they do. They're forced to shut their refineries down, switch everything over, and produce a different type
But they
of
know
gas.
it. Can't they just average this stuff out? Can't it stay at $3
Well,
year
if
round?
there's
There's
We're
also,
drilling
there's,
through
al- there's also a world market for the product. It doesn't just stay here.
If we were
and so
drilling for
events in
oil
other
on our
countries
federal
affect that
land,
also.
we could have a much larger supply. If we okayed the XL pipeline, which even the Democratic unions want okayed, we could have lower prices. He doesn't care. His ideology is more important.
Now, we've just gone through the 2014 Democratic Party survey, and I just want to know, did the two of you agree on anything Mr. Obama's got on this survey here?
Well, we agreed that
Unlikely.
he needs his majority back in the House so he can continue to destroy America.
I'd be curious for you to bring the Republican version of that in.
I wish I could find one.
Let me-
They don't send it to you?
let me throw
John's
s-
got it. Trust me.
I'm sure I do.
Hey, but anyway, I'm gonna do what every good Republican would do that receives one of these things in the mail. I'm gonna seal the envelope with nothing in it and mail it back to
Wait
him.
a minute. You're a Republican?
No,
He said what every good Republican would
Shudders.
do.
what every good Republican.
Let
would
me
do.
leave something here that y'all, just so y'all understand the difference in the progressives. I've got a printout here from the D.C. Abortion Fund. Their slogan is, her rights shouldn't depend on her wallet, with a coat hanger hanging off of the word wallet. If you agree to give $10 or more a month, they will send you a coat hanger pendant to wear around your neck, a necklace with a gold coat hanger. That's classy stuff, guys.
I think one last thing before we leave.
It's a stark reminder of how little you all, the progressive, value life.
I think that the only way Obama and Putin are going to get anything accomplished is Obama's going to have another beer summit. Bye-bye. We'll see you.
You've been listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson, John Stanberry, and Franklin Chansey. Catch them again on Whoop FM at noon today and every Wednesday morning from 7:30 to 8:30. Now, back to more music on Whoop FM.
American Idol ain't got nothing on us. We play all the artists that didn't make it right here on 99.9 Whoop FM.
Believe it or not, you have a Cleveland smile, and it's going to last you all day because your pal who has the ability told you that. Go ahead and use it. You know where it's at. Keep smiling. A word from Unity. And have a great day, you guys. A great day if you can.